This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good evening everyone. We're going to just share a few thoughts on 2 points on Daf Nun Hey in Masechta Yevamos. One is, the Gemara talks about a soita who is Meshamesh be'ever meis. And the Gemara wants to know, why does it say Shechva Zara be'soita? Why does it say Shechva Zara be'shipcha charufa? And Shechva Zara be'esh hasish. So the Gemara says Shechva Zara be'esh hasish comes to exclude someone who is Meshamesh be'ever meis. So in other words, the Gemara wanted to know, why does the Torah say V'ish v'al eishes amizcha lo'isitin shechavdecha lazara letama va. That's relations of eishes ish. And the Gemara basically says it's coming to say that if you're meshamish be'ever meis, you are pater. It has to be a biah, which is roi, for a zera. So the Gemara says this only works out according to the man da amar meshamish be'ever meis pater, the man da amar meshamish be'ever meis chayiv ma'yikol amemer. So the Gemara seems to be concluding that there's no real chiyav arayos by meshamish be'ever meis, and that's how the Rambam paskins. The Rambam paskins in Hilchos Yisur Biah, Parak Aleph, Halach Yud Aleph, that anybody, you have it here on the sheet, anybody who lives with somebody with who you're not to live with an aver mace, but like kishoy, then even though the aver even went into the isha, you're not chayiv, not kares, not malchus, and you're not for sure not chayiv misa, because this is not considered a biah, ein zu biah, but it would passel the woman from eating chuma, and Bezin would punish makas mardos. But the bottom line is, the Rambam paskins that meshamish be'ever meis is not a violation of arayos, and there's no malchus even. The question is, that the Achronim ask, is from the Gemara in Sot and Daf Chavav and Beis, that the Gemara says you could warn a woman on shachaf, and the Rambam says that you could warn a woman not to be miyached with another man with a biah be'ever meis. So Rav Shach asks on the Rambam in the Avi Ezri in Hilchos Yisur Biah, that the Rambam says that meshamish be'ever meis is not a biah. So how could the woman become usher to her husband if she lives with another man and the man is living with her be'ever meis? The Rambam paskins, based on our Sugya, that if somebody lives with an eishes ish, that is not considered a violation of arayos. So why would, if a man lives with a woman, be'ever meis, why would that woman become asr labala? It's not considered an isra arayos. The Rambam says even it's not considered biah. So why would the woman become asr to her husband? So again, the Beis Halevi introduces a concept that we've used a few times before. We've used it regarding bias katan. Perhaps even if bias katan is not a biah, it still could create an isra saita. We use this on the top of the page where the Gemara has a havamina that meshamesh derech evarim, that if a man warns his wife not to be engaged in tashmish derech evarim, then she could potentially become asr to her husband. And here again, the Beis Halevi advances this principle, that the truth is that a woman does not become asr by biah b'meshamish be'ever meis, and that is not considered gilui arayos. The man who had relations with her did not violate gilui arayos, but the husband could warn her and say, I warn you not to engage in this, like we had this principle before, because soita is b'kpeida de baal talarachmana. Soita is dependent on the jealousy of the husband. And if the husband is jealous about this kind of extramarital relation, then in fact she would become asr to the husband. Okay, what I would primarily want to focus on is a Tosfos here on Daf Nun Hey Amud Beis, and as well as a Tosfos in Kedushin on Daf Yud. And that is, we come to a very important question. The question is that in our Gemara, it's clear that ha'ara is koneh by Kedushin. What does that mean that ha'ara is koneh by Kedushin? The Gemara says that Isha labala minalan. How do we know that a husband is koneh his wife biha'ara? And the Gemara says Asya kicha kicha. We learn how to exer shava kicha kicha. It says kicha by ishu bala, and it says by chayve krisus kicha, just like by chayve krisus hara is a biah. So too a husband could be koneh his wife with ha'ara. And Toisus Divrei Hamaschal Isha Labaila has the following question. The Gemara in Masechta Kedushin says on Daf Yud that anyone who's boyal, his das is on the Gemar Biah. So how could our Gemara says that you're say that you're kind of woman bahara, but our Gemara says that anyone who's boyal a woman, his das is on the Gemar Biah? Says Tosfos Perush de Niknis bahara. How do I know Isha labala minayin asya kicha kicha? Meaning that you're kind of a woman bahara. Hiksha harab Rabbeinu Nisim asked the parakama de Kedushin. First parak of Kedushin, boy, the Gemara has a shaila, tchilas biah koneh, is the beginning of biah koneh, or soif biah koneh? Lamai nafkamina, what's the nafkamina? Sheheraba, let's say you did hara, and then she was makabel Kedushin from someone else. And Rava concludes, kol habayal, daitoi, al gemar biah, v'loi koneh bahara. Rava concludes, anyone who does biah has in mind the gemar biah, and you're not koneh bahara. So it's a stira. Our Gemara says that a husband is koneh a woman bahara, and the Gemara in Kedushin says kol haboyal daitoy al gemar biah, and you're not koneh bahara. That is the kasha of Tosfos. The Gemara in Kedushin says that you're koneh a woman b'gemar biah, not bahara, and our Gemara says you're koneh a woman bahara. So Tosfos gives two answers that are fundamental, and Tosfos and Kedushin gives two answers. The Teretz Harav Shimon Hazakin, Reb Shimon Hazakin answers, the Hada Amar Hacha the Kani Bahara. You know what our Gemara means that you're kind of a woman Bahara? Hainu b'shaloi asa kiyim hara. That's only when you did hara. You did the initial stage of biah, upirish miyad, and then you separated from her immediately. V'loi gamar biyasin, you didn't finish the biah. So if all you did is a hara and you don't finish the biah, you're kind of bahara. Aval hasam ayri kisha kol biah. There it's talking about where you're doing the whole biah. Deloi kani bahara. You're not kind of bahara kivan shadaita gamar biah. V'cheimucha chalashain. The language is also mashma over there. The kamar hasam kol haboyal, anyone as well. Daitai al gamar biah. His das is for the gamar biah. V'loi ka'amar. He doesn't say kol hama'ara, anyone who does the initial stage. In other words, like this: if you just do hara, for sure you're koneh, and that's what our Gemara is saying. We learn out kicha that if a man does hara to a woman, that hara alone will be koneh the woman. But when somebody does a full biah, then you're not koneh b'hara, because kol haboyel daitoi al soif biah, and in that case he didn't get to it yet, and someone else did the kedushin, and she's married to someone else. So again, hara is a kinyan, but that's only when you only do hara. If you do a biah gemura, then kol haboyel daitoi al gemar biah. V'harav Rabbi Yitzchak ben Harav Meir Piresh. Rabbi Yitzchak ben Rav Meir explains, really, even if you do a full biah, you could be koneh b'hara. But that is when you explicate that you want to be koneh b'hara, you're koneh b'hara even if you finish the biah. But stam, someone who does biah, he has in mind now gemar biah. However, if you explicitly say you want to be koneh b'hara, you'll be koneh b'hara. That's how Tosfos' second answer. The first answer is when you just do hara, you're koneh. When you do a biah gemura, then you're not koneh b'hara. Kol haboyal daitoi al gemar biah. Taisus in the second answer is mechadesh, that even when you do a Biah Gemura, you could be Koneh B'hara. That's only provided that you're mefarish that you want to be Koneh B'hara. But if you unspecify and you don't explain what you want to do, and you're gomer the Biah, even b'stam daitai, by stam daitai, your das is Gemar Biah. And so Taisus in Masechta Yevamos gives the answer of Rabbi Shimon Hazaken and Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yitzchak ben Rav Meir. And Taisus here says, Rabbeinu Tam Pirish Sham bin Yenacher v'Sham Pirashti. Rabbeinu Tam himself gives another answer. So, Rabbi Yu, I want to share with you Taisus and Kedushin. How's that? So Taisus is on Daf Yud. Let's try to read it inside. Taisus says, the Gemara in Kedushin says, Kol habayal daitoi al Gemar Biah. Anyone whose bayal, his das is on the end of the Biah, tema, the perek habal yevimto in Yevamos yalfina, and the isha niknas the bala bahara, asya kicha da arayos the hara, ba'asya kicha da arayos. Says Taisus hara hainu tchilas Biah. That means the Gemara in Kedushin, the Gemara in Yevamos is coming out that you're Koneh b'tchilas Biah, v'hacha masik the soif Biah Koneh. Here we conclude that the end of Biah is Koneh. V'omer Rashba, the Rashba says, the chi amrinon ha'ara Koneh. That when we say hara is Koneh, hainu b'shaloi asa kiyim hara. That is, if all you did is hara. Upirish miyad. You know what hara is Koneh? That's if all you did is hara, and then you separate the muchash liknas b'gmar Biah, that you're showing you don't want to be Koneh b'gmar Biah. This is like Tosfos' first answer in Yevamos. Aval hachamari shegamar biyasa. Here we're talking about where you completed the Biah. The azloi Koneh b'hara, then you're not Koneh b'hara. Kibun shadaita al gemar Biah. The haloshen machiach the kamar kol habayov loy kamar kol hama'are. So this first answer of Tosfos in Kedushin is the same as the first answer as Tosfos in Yevamos. Then Tosfos quotes the answer of Rabbeinu Yitzchak ben Rav Meir. You know when you're Koneh b'hara, when you explicate that you want to be Koneh b'hara. Aval b'stam, under regular circumstances, daitoi al gemar Biah. Rabbeinu Tam tirates, here's Rabbeinu Tam's answer. The acharation is rab sahara, once the Torah is mar b'hara, ki gemar Biah. Then it has the status of gemar Biah, im kein kol makom shemazker Biah, b'hara kamar. When the Gemara says your das is on the Gemar Biah, it's the hara. V'hachi kamar. So meaning, the Gemara in Yevamos has a drasha that a man is Koneh a woman b'hara. The shaila in Kedushin is, once a man is Koneh a woman b'hara, are you Koneh b'tchilas hara or b'soif hara? Says Tosfos v'hachi kamar. Tchilas hara Koneh, or soif hara Koneh. U'laman de'amar, now, that has to be explained, both according to the man the Amar Hara is Nashika, and according to the man the Amar Hara is Hachnasas Atara. Ulaman the Amar Hara zu Hachnasas Atara. If Hara is Hachnasas Atara, the Shaykh bat Chila v'Soif. Now, Tosfos is saying this answer only works out according to the man the Amar that Hara is Hachnasas Atara, and then you could say, is it the beginning of the Hachnasas Atara or the end of the Hachnasas Atara? Rabbeinu Nissim tirates, Rabbeinu Nissim answers another answer. Dahidi Yevamos ayri achar kedushin. In the Gemara in Yevamos that hara is Koneh, it's talking about once you did kedushin. And the shaila is whether when we say is hara Koneh, avada ha'ara does not effectuate kedushin. That's the shaila. Tchilas Biah Koneh, Esoif Biah Koneh, and the answer is Kol Habayal Al Gemar Biah. That's regarding Kedushin. The shaila here in Yevamos is whether Biah, when the shaila in Yevamos, the shaila, in in other words, the stira was as follows. The Gemara in Yevamos says you're Koneh b'hara. The Gemara in Kedushin says you're Koneh b'gemar Biah. Says Tosfos that the Gemara in Kedushin is talking about whether you're Koneh a woman with Biah for Kedushin, and the conclusion is you are not Koneh b'tchilas Biah. Kedushin cannot be effectuated b'tchilas Biah. Kedushin is only effectuated b'gemar Biah. When the Gemara in Yevamos says a man could be Koneh a woman with b'tchilas Biah, b'hara, it's talking about Biah as Nesuin. Tahid Yevamos Ayri achar Kedushin. It's talking about we already did Kedushin. Tahidei oisa ha'ara, through that hara have a Kenesua, you're like a Nesua k'may chuppah, la'achar Kedushin, like chuppah after Kedushin. Tosfos just asks on that the Gzeir Shav of kicha is stated regarding Kedushin, and it's not talking about after Kedushin for chuppah. So the bottom line is, learning the various Tosfos in Shas, there are 4 answers to the stira between Yevamos and Kedushin. Again, the Gemara in Yevamos says explicitly, Ish is Koneh Isha b'hara b'tchilas Biah, and the Gemara in Kedushin has a shaila, tchilas Biah Koneh isoif Biah Koneh, and the Gemara concludes that kol haboyel daitay al gemar Biah. So we have 4 answers. The answer of the Rashba, Rabbi Shimon Hazakin, is that hara is Koneh if you just do hara, but if you do a full Biah, then kol haboyel al daitay al gemar Biah. Tosfos' second answer, the answer of the Rivam, is that even when you do a full Biah, you can be Koneh b'hara if you say explicitly you want to be Koneh b'hara. But stam das of a person is when they do a full Biah, they're Koneh with the gemar Biah. Then you have the answer of Rabbeinu Tam. And Rabbeinu Tam says that after we have Gzeras HaKosov, that hara is like gemar Biah, so whenever we have a shayla about Biah, we're talking about hara. And now the shayla is, the Gemara shayla Kedushin is, of course, hara is Koneh. There's no question about that. We have Gzeras HaKosov, Gzeras Shava, the hara is Koneh. The shayla is it the beginning of hara or the end of hara? And this is going according to the man Amar, hara is hachnasas atara. That's the pshat of Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Nisim says that the Gemara in Yevamos shaila is about using hara Biah for Kedushin, and the conclusion is gemar Biah Koneh. The shaila in Yevamos is using Biah for Nesuin, and for that we say tchilas Biah is Koneh for Nesuin. Okay, thank you for joining us this evening. We'll hold it over here. Bez Hashem, see everybody tomorrow, Monday evening. Daf Nun Vav Amud Aleph. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.